Holton back with the Rev It Up podcast. Speed weeks are in the book, and we now move into the regular season for racing in the great country as we call home. Let's look back at last week's events. The return of the MLRA saw 2 nights at Springfield Raceway for March Madness. Night 1 saw Tony Jackson Jr. picking up the victory, followed by Clay Stuckey, Eli Ross, Caden McWarther, and Mike Spatola to round out the top 5 on Night 1. Veterans and young hot shoes filled the top 5 with names to look out for this season. Night 2 would also see Lebanon, Missouri's Tony Jackson Jr. in victory lane. Rounding out the top 5 were Dylan McCowan, Terry Phillips, Derek Stewart, and Clay Stuckey. World of Outlaw late models were also in action in Old Rocky Top, as on Friday they took to the high-banked Volunteer Speedway. Prevailing in victory was the home state driver Mike Marlar, followed by Ricky Thornton Jr., Bobby Pierce, Chris Madden, and Dale McDowell. Veterans were able to show the kids how to get it done at Bulls Gap. Night 2 saw the teams load up and head east towards Smoky Mountain Speedway. The racing was good with an accident that took out P1 and P2. Bobby Pierce would become the leader with 2 laps to go and hold off the field for the win. Behind him were Nick Hoffman, Ricky Thornton Jr., Dale McDowell, and Tim McCready. The Outlaws moved to Magnolia Motor Speedway next. The Outlaws invaded Mississippi, where Bobby Pierce picked up 2 wins in a row. Nick Hoffman came in second, followed by J.D., Jonathan Davenport, Ryan Gustin, and Ashton Winger. The Outlaws will stay in Mississippi for Night 2 at Magnolia Motor Speedway. The Rumley Enterprises 6 of Hudson O'Neal won Night 2 at the Magnolia State at Magnolia Motor Speedway. And Bobby Pierce continued his hot streak, coming up 15 spots through the field. And then Jonathan Davenport would round out the podium, falling 2 spots to finish third. And then the second placement in the points, Nick Hoffman from Mooresville, North Carolina, will come on 4th. And then Turbo Tyler Erb will round out the top 5. Air Force Ashton Ringer's hard charge would end in the 6th position. And then Dennis Erb Jr., the one-man band from Carpentersville, Illinois, will come home 7th. Dalton Wilson with a very impressive hard charge through the field of 15 positions will come home 8th. And then T-Mac in the Boom Briggs Transport number 9B will come home 9th out of Watertown, New York. Trey Mills out of St. Augustine, Florida, the young gun, will come round out the top 10. The Outlaws will head to Alabama and Georgia. They'll head to the East Alabama Motor Speedway for the Phoenix City Late Model Showdown, and they'll head to Georgia to the Sonoya Raceway for the Billy Clanton Classic. The Southern All-Stars invaded Modoc Speedway for the return of Modoc Speedway, with hometown drivers Brandon Overton and Cody Overton taking the top 2 spots. Big Sexy Brandon Overton in the Budweiser 76 got the win, followed by his younger brother Cody Overton. Zach Mitchell came home 3rd, followed by Carson Ferguson out of Lincoln, North Carolina. And then Garrett Mitchell from Madison, Georgia, followed by Jackson Heiss, Tucker Anderson, Devin Morgan, Becca Malone, and Clay Knight. The Southern All-Stars will head to Cherokee Speedway for March Madness. The results for that we'll look at right now. Chris Smoky Man out of Gray Court, South Carolina, picked up the win in the Infiniti number 44. Zach Mitchell came home 2nd, followed by Tucker Anderson out of Blairsville, Georgia, in the number 22. Big Sexy Brandon Overton had a charge up to the 4th place finish out of Evan, Georgia, and then Ben Watkins out of Lancaster, South Carolina, came home 5th. Leighton Sullivan out of Gaffney, South Carolina, came home 6th, and then Willie Milken out of Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina, came home 7th. Kendall Franklin out of Clara, Alabama, came home 8th. Alex Vance out of Waysville, North Carolina, came home 9th, up 10 positions. And then Benji Hicks in the double nickel, number 55, out of Mount Airy, North Carolina, rounding out the top 10, up 5 positions. The results from Florence Speedway and Florence, Kentucky saw Cambersville's Kentucky Justin Ratcliffe up 13 positions to pick up the win at the famous Florence Speedway, followed by Mike Marlin out of Winfield, Tennessee, coming home 2nd. Hot Rod Conley coming home 3rd. Josh Rice, the hot shoe, running for Rookie of the Year in the Lucas Oil Late Models out of Crittington, Kentucky, coming home 4th. Devin Gilpin out of Columbus, Indiana, coming home 5th. Cody Mooney coming home 6th. Cody Evans 7th. Blake Creech 8th. Trevor Landrum 9th. And Todd Brennan up 13 positions to round out the top 10. This episode is brought to you by Cresco Speedway, the fastest track in Northeast Iowa. We look forward to seeing you on June 24th, June 4th, and June 25th. And September 6th, see you at the races. Heartland Modified Tour Night 1 results. For the first night of the Heartland Modified Tour on the 2026 season saw Joe Duvall out of Justice, Oklahoma, picking up the win. Hopefully he hadn't used too much of his wife's credit card. Trevor Hughes finishing 2nd, up 12 positions out of Westville, Oklahoma. Tyler Davis finishing 3rd, and Peyton Phillips out of Chinook, Kansas, finishing 4th. Shadron Turner out of Kansas City, Kansas, finishing 5th. Cole Campbell out of Mexico, Missouri, finishing 6th. Henry Chambers out of Baldwin City, Kansas, finishing 7th. Gabe Hodges out of Lobo, Kansas, finishing 8th. Bobby Williams out of Hermitage, Missouri, finishing 9th. And Steve Lavasser out of River Falls, Wisconsin, finishing 10th. And a local that made the trip down there out of Rushford, Minnesota is Landon Volkman, finishing 12th. Good run for Landon Volkman. Night 2 for the Heartland Modified saw Bobby Williams picking up the win out of Hermitage, Missouri, followed by Tyler Davis, Wyatt Giero, Reese Solander out of Emporia, Kansas, Shadron Turner, Steve Lavasser, Trevor Hughes, and Cole Campbell and Dustin Hodges, and the flying superintendent, Jason Persley, will round out the top 10, and Landon Volkman, the local down there, will finish 13th. Another good run for Landon Volkman. And another shout-out goes to a local from Casson, Minnesota, Gavin Bartel, in the hobby stock division, went down to I-35 Speedway and picked up the win on Saturday in the hobby stock division. That's it for this week. Thank you for listening to Rev It Up, USMTS King of Americas this weekend. A lot of locals going down to Lucas Oil Speedway for that. Make sure you support them, and always remember to support your local racetrack. I'm Kane Holton, and you've listened to Rev It Up.